So a linear scatter plot, it's not going to necessarily be a perfect line, but line-ish. It can either go up, so your points will do something like that, or it can be decreasing and your points will be something like that. So again, it doesn't need to be a perfect line, but basically it models a line is what we're saying. So you have to be able to look at the dots and go, oh, that's a line. Now we've done this before, but this was way back in the beginning of the year, so I'm not really expecting you to remember this, but we'll see what you got. So your linear regression, it's y equals mx plus b, but you have to change two things. So if you're writing with pen, don't write that down yet because we're going to have to change some things. I'm just throwing the question out there. Stop talking over me. If you're talking, you're not listening. What's one thing we have to change in that? You have to make this the tilde. Good job. So erase the equals. That needs to be the squiggly. That is up at the top left of your keyboard when we get there, like by the escape key. All right, and then there's one other thing. The cross. No, you need ones after the variables. So you need ones after the x and the y. All right, quadratic scatter plot. Instead of a line, what basically shape is that going to make? A U. Again, it's not, I said basically because it's not going to be a perfect U shape, like basically a U shape. So that would be right side up, or it could be upside down, like a frowny face. So something like that. But basically a U shape. Now, I didn't put it on here because you don't have to actually write the equations for these ones, but you remember the turtles and the islands and all that thing? The other one was exponential. What shape, not a line or a U, what shape was the exponential one? Yeah, I call it a swoop going up, okay? You have to be able to identify those, but you don't have to be able to write the equation. All right, so this is new. This is the new thing. I don't know if you want to put stars next to this. This is the thing you haven't seen before, but it's really similar to what we just did with the linear one. It's just the quadratic version of it. So it's y equals, and again, if you're writing with pen, hold off a second because we're going to do the same thing and change some stuff. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We've been doing that for like a month now. You've seen that. You're going to make the same two changes. You need the equal sign to be the squiggly, the little tilde, bless you. And you need ones after the variables, which the x's and the y. X and y need those little ones. C is not a variable. C would end up being a number. A, B, and C are values. Can you guys reel it in for me? Now, you are going to need to watch and pay attention because I don't really have a better explanation than, hey, look. You just have to know how to use your calculator. You'll either get the right answer or have no clue at all. You have to know how to type it. What button do you hit to get the whole party started? S. And then table. While I type this, your job is to watch and make sure I don't mess it up. Because if I mess it up, the whole thing is going to be wrong. After you type it, hit the little, stop talking over me. You hit the little magnifying glass. Basically, what shape is that? A U shape, all right? So on your paper, what I want you to write is quadratic. The past 3 classes, I have not been able to use my recording for you guys because I have to keep telling you to be quiet. It's nonsense. Knock it off. I'm going to share again. We're going to go down to the next box, and I'm going to type y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Do you see how I did that and nothing showed up? That's because I didn't make the changes. I'm going to put ones after the x's and the y. And then what else am I going to need to do? There we go. Matilda, that's funny. And then do you see how it showed up? Right? And you're going to write your answer with these numbers in it. So, and again, I can't have my paper and the calculator up here at the same time. So I'm going to dictate to you and you have to listen. It's going to be y equals, we'll round to 1 decimal point. Well, actually, let's round to 2 decimal points. We're going to do 0.95 x squared. And then b is negative 8.57. So minus 8.57x. And then we'll do plus 26.79. I rounded it to 2 decimal points. Anyone know what 2 decimal points is called? That'd be rounding to the what? If you do 2. Tenths is 1. What is it? Hundredths is 2. Does anyone know what 3 is? Thousandths is 3. Because on delta math, you're going to be one of those 3. But do you see how I have a number x squared and then a number x, ax squared, bx, and c? Yeah. All right. Now, what I wrote on here, we're going to use the model to make a prediction for a reasonable x and y value. So let's pick something to plug in for x. See how our x's are round about here between 0 and 10? All right. So maybe, does the table go all the way out to 10? No. All right, then let's do x equals 10. You see how I just went to the next box down and I typed x equals 10? Where am I going to click over here to get the answer? Yeah, good. X is 10, y is 36.31. We'll say x is 10, y is 36.31. And then let's do a reasonable estimation for y. Would I plug in y equals negative number? No, there's no graph down here. Would I type in y equals 4 million? Probably not, because I'd have to scroll all the way up there. What would be a reasonable number to plug in for y? Yeah, maybe 10. Do you see that there? Okay, I'm trying to get you guys to use your common sense and see what's reasonable. Y equals 10. How many answers do we get? 2. Cool. So when y is 10, x is 2.87, or well, we'll round that up, 2.88. So when y is 10, x equals 2.88 and 6.12. Do you see how I clicked both of them? If you're in the back, it was probably a little bit small, but to be able to. Okay, let me go back to the screen. Everybody needs to be quiet and listen. We picked 10. Somebody shouted out 10, so I took that. What would be another reasonable y number? 11 or 12, maybe up to 20. After that, you're kind of getting away from it. Probably not 1. Do you see how that's like? See how if I type y equals 1, that's not going to intersect the graph. So I asked you guys what makes sense. We said 10. Then I clicked on the 2 intersections, and those are our answers. I just made something up. I mean, 10 was still sort of here around the middle of the graph. I probably wouldn't have picked like 24. Do you see how I would have to keep scrolling forever and ever to find it? I said, why don't we pick something reasonable? I'm asking you guys what's I want you to use your common sense and what's reasonable. Okay. Let's try one more and then I'll give you a break. I'm gonna share my screen again. I'm gonna get rid of all of this stuff. And while I'm typing, I need for you guys to pay attention. When you go to do your classwork, you're gonna need to know how to type it. 5, 2, 2.5. All right, and then what have we got? 1, 7, 10, 15, 23, 29. Magnifying glass. Basically, what shape is it? A line. You see that there? So on your paper, I want you to write linear. On your paper, write linear. And what am I going to type in this box? Right here, I'm going to do it and then go back and change it. It's y equals, no, mx plus b. It's linear. Y equals mx plus b. Then we're going to go back and put the ones, Matilda. Yeah, Matilda. That's funny. I'm going to steal that. All right. So what you're going to write in your paper is y equals, what is m? 11.09. So 11.09x plus, and then b is 848. I'm not making up these numbers. I'm just pulling them from the calculator. And do you see how this format is different from that one? This is y equals mx plus b. This is your ax squared plus bx plus c. They're different. They're just 2 different formats. So what would be like a reasonable number to plug in for x? Let's pick something reasonable. Would you plug in 17 million? Probably not. 15 is pretty far out there. I don't know that I want to go that far. We already did 2, so like maybe we already did 1. 1's in the table. So maybe 3. Let's do 3. Okay, so x equals 3, and I'm going to click right there, and that's our y value. So when x is 3, y is 33.73. Now let's pick a reasonable number for y. Again, could have put on the paper what I wanted you to plug in, but I want you guys to come up with what's reasonable. Just use your common sense. So let's see, 30 would probably be good. Do you see that right there? Yeah, if we do 30, it's not going to be too far away. I'm going to type y equals 30. So when y is 30, what is x? 2.66. So when y is 30, x is 2.66. So usually you get told what to plug in, but I just thought it'd be healthy for you guys to use your brains and come up with something that made sense. Here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and flip to the next one. I want you guys to look up here. I'm going to share my screen. I want you guys to make sure I don't type anything wrong. Plus, able, enough. I want to actually be able to use this recording. And when I'm done typing this, what will I hit? Get the, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I got you. Okay, so now what button do I hit so that we can actually see it? Magnifying glass. Can you shut your computer? So basically what shape, you need to look up here. If you aren't looking up here, that's not going to help.
Exponential.
Exponential. Do you see how it's a swoop? Exponential. Now you don't have to be able to write the equation or do any predictions for exponential. You just have to be able to identify it. Okay, so that's it for that one. So if it's linear or quadratic, you have to be able to do the whole everything. If it's exponential, you just have to be able to identify it. Now these ones are stories. Okay, write EXP, that's fun. These ones are stories. While I am typing this one, can you please read, familiarize yourself with what one is about? Read it. I'm just asking you to read and understand what's going on. What's happening in this story? You're paying off a car. And so what should be happening to these values?
Yeah.
Because you should be owing, less and less, hopefully. Now I'm going to hit the magnifying glass. Do they go down? What's the shape? Linear. Everybody write linear on your paper. Linear, L-I-N-E-A-R. I'm going to come down to the next box. I'm going to type what for linear. Shh, pay attention. What is linear? Good job. Y equals mx plus b is linear. I'm going to put ones in the Matilda. Really funny. All right. So let's write this on our paper. It's going to be y equals, guys, y equals. Here in the back, that's a little bit small, but do you see where my cursor is, where I'm pointing here? All right, negative 222.5x plus, then that's 10, just put 10,030. It's kind of a big number. Well, that's because we started out owing $10,000. Yeah, why is this negative, huh? So it's going down. No, the 10,000 is positive. You started out owing $10,000. No, that's an equal sign. Definitely positive. When you have it closer to you and it's in front of you, you'll be able to see that. All right, now let's make a reasonable prediction for x. What would be a reasonable number to plug in for x? Our data points went out to 6. No, we already did 5's on the table. 7. Can I explain to you why 5 would not make any sense? I already know the answer for 5. Why would you need to predict that? You need to predict off into the future. So 7 would make sense. Listen, would like 400 make sense? No, you want something relatively close to where you're at. So at 7 months, we need units for this. So when x is 7 months, how much money do you still owe?
8,470.
Yeah, let's just round to I wouldn't round to a whole number. All right. So at 7 months, you owe, and your units is dollar signs cash money. All right. Cash money, 8,000. And do you see how that number is less than this one?
Yeah.
Like it's still going down. You would be paying off the car. Are cars about $10,000?
No.
No.
And it depends on
Maybe used. Maybe used, but a lot more than that. All right, let's try another one. Enough. Trying to get you to use your common sense. while I am typing this, be quiet. While I am typing this, I want you to read, familiarize yourself with what's going on. What is this story about? Okay, so if you like buried something in the ground and it would biodegrade, do you get what I'm saying? You can read that on your own time. Can you pay attention up here? You have to look. All right. How much would be left? Now, what shape is this? It is a swoop. See that? No, the swoop is exponential. Now, you don't have to be able to do the equation or anything for exponential. You just need to go, hey, that's a swoop exponential. You are. You just got to listen to me. Okay, last one. Let's make it a good one. I need for you to look up here because I don't have a better explanation. Problems don't have steps to them. You're not like step one, step two, do this, do this, do this. Like you have to just be able to look at it. That's literally all it is. And if you can't use the calculator, you can't do it at all. They're talking while I did that. Did I type those right? Does that look okay? Okay, I'm gonna hit the magnifying glass. Does it look quadratic? It does. Do you see how it's a U shape? I forgot to have you read this one. What's this one about? A ball goes up in the air and comes back down. You are literally rocket scientists. What this is. Rockets go up and they come back down. All right, stop talking. Now it's not y equals mx b for this one. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Good job. You need ones after the x's and the y and Matilda. Funny, all right. Well, it's a tilde is what it's called, but she said Matilda and I thought it was funny. So anyway, please be quiet. All right, it's negative. Getting close to not being able to use this video again. That would be the fourth time in a row. Hold it together, guys. All right, so A is negative, we'll say negative 1.6. It's negative 1.6 x squared plus what? Can anybody who's close to the front see it? What would come next? All right, 7.4 what? X, good, thank you. Plus, and then C is 5.6. It'll look like that. So what you have to know is how to use the calculator and what those equations look like, because they aren't going to be given to you. You have to memorize them. But one of them is y equals mx plus b, so for heaven's sake, right? Now let's pick a reasonable number to plug in for x. What would be something reasonable? But you guys have got it, okay? Let's plug in 6, because it's, oh, you know what? Actually, though, as I say that, what's going to happen if I plug in 6? Where is it going to say the ball is? It's going to say it's negative. So maybe let's do like 5. I think 5.5 is still going to be, let's try 4.5. Let's try 4.5. I think if you do, here, let me try it. Please stop talking over me. I tried 5.5. See, it's still going to be negative. Let's do 4.5. So at 4.5, what? You have to use units. X equals 4.5. What are the units? Look at your paper. Don't make them up. No. Seconds. So at 4.5 seconds, your height is what? 7.05 what? Feet. Make sure you read. Your seconds and your feet are right